Guys, I don't know what else to do or say at this point. I really don't. It's May 11th, and this is easily the worst stretch of baseball I feel like I've covered as a Mets fan. This trumps the end of the season last year, prior to playoffs, obviously. It trumps their final month of baseball last year, prior to the wild card. It really feels that way, or close to at least. This is one of those things where it even hurts more than 2021, because 2021, that team on paper, we knew how good it was or lack thereof. So I don't know what else to do but laugh. Parental advisor per usual. I feel like I've been having to say that constantly. I apologize to my viewers live or on replay. I apologize to my great sponsors of SoRare MLB and Manson Sleep that we'll get into a little bit later. But like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Say it with me, folks. Ready? Because right now, this perfectly describes this Mets team, right? Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. The New York Mets are absolute trash. This team right now is nothing more than a piece of fucking garbage. They have dropped 5 straight series and haven't even won a series since 7 series ago in LA against the Dodgers, because they split that series against the Giants. Then they've lost their last 5 consecutive fucking series, all to dog shit teams not named the Atlanta Braves. They are 4 and what? They are 4-13 over their last 17 games. 4-13. You almost have to give them credit for how dog shit that they have been on a night-to-night basis. If it wasn't for Justin Verlander throwing an absolute masterclass, we would once again have pretty much zero positives to discuss when the Mets were in a batter's box in Cincinnati. If this wasn't going to get them going, I don't know what the hell is. This team has no fire under their ass whatsoever. For the second time in 3 games of this series, Francisco Alvarez, a 21-year-old prospect, the youngest player in baseball, was the only guy who looked like he gave a flying fuck today. That is how bad this offense has been. Don't get me wrong, Kodai Senga wasn't anything fantastic today either, but Senga, again, still was not the only problem today, and he was able to get in a groove after that rough start to the game, in which he wasn't getting barreled hard either. You know, if I'm pulling my best Spencer Strider impression, the Reds got some quote-unquote lucky hits. By luck, I mean they got a bloop single with 2 outs that led into a run. Then Stevenson on, a not good swing, pokes it opposite field, and that drives in another run. I mean, Senga had some bad luck there that we saw in the first. So don't get me wrong, having a 4-0 deficit to begin a ball game is surely not encouraging for your offense, and that in itself is an issue too. But there's something that needs to be said when the Reds, instead of rolling out their young stud of a southpaw, Nick Lodolo, who, even though he's not off to a great start this year, really good young southpaw. I like a lot about Nick Lodolo and his game. So to have him as a late scratch, they have a bullpen game today. And let's just jump right to the fucking chase, guys. What did the Mets do against this Reds bullpen? They did nothing. This was the Reds bullpen today. They absolutely shoved it right up the Mets' ass. That is how bad this offense was. That is how good they made the Reds bullpen look. And again, don't get me wrong, Reds have some nice relievers, but at the end of the day, and I'm sorry, I know this is going to offend Reds fans, it's the fucking Reds. It's the Reds. Thank you guys so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Thank you, 1200, for your donos as always, brother. Thank you, Pat, for the dono as well. Fans since 1960. I appreciate that. Shout out all you guys watching live or on replay. It means a lot. Grant said in the chat, yeah, I have more excitement and enjoyment watching the Syracuse Mets right now with Ronnie Mauricio and Mark Vientos than I do this Mets team, which goes in hand with the poll that we have in the live chat right now, which is the quote and the following. Do the Mets need to make another offensive change? Vientos, Mauricio, etc. And out of those results, because I'm going to click, let's see here. Out of those results, if I go look at them right now on YouTube, we have 94% of you guys out of 200 votes already say yes. You know, we know the kids are thriving down there in AAA, to say the least, and the kids that are up with the Mets right now are producing. And Alvarez, Beatty has been on a little bit of a snide, got on base today on an error. He's going to snap out of it, though. I think Beatty's over his last 12 or 13, but again, he's young, he's a rookie. I'm not concerned there. The least of my concerns actually are the kids. One of my main concerns are everything else in this lineup and this pitching staff as a whole. Again, I understand Senga wasn't the worst thing imaginable today, and he did get in a nice groove there for a bit after what was a tough and unfortunate first inning where he had 2 outs, just needed 1 more and couldn't get it. And before you knew it, the Reds put up a 4 spot on him. But this offense, though, again, lifeless on a night-to-night basis. I hate covering this Mets team right now. I know it might do well for viewership because I know we have a lot of Mets fans that really like to come together when the Mets aren't doing well, or Braves fans or fans of the opposing team. They love being in here when the Mets aren't thriving because they have, of course, the LOL Mets mentality. I get it. But I have to call this team out on its bullshit, and unfortunately the bullshit has been so consistent on a daily basis for what is going to be 3 weeks now. The Mets have a 4-game set against the Nationals. I have no confidence. In that series whatsoever. Not looking forward to it. I'm ready for Patrick Corbin to carve this Mets team up because they have nothing. They have zero life. There is such little to be positive about if you have been a fan of this Mets team to start the year or covering. I know Steve Cohen is absolutely fuming. He can't be happy with what he's seen. I know the coaching staff is probably not happy either and frustrated as all hell, as they should be. It's like at some point, push comes to shove, something needs to fucking change here. There is no fire under this team. The fact that they even had the audacity to go out, and the only win that they had against the Reds in this entire series was thanks to a Justin Verlander masterclass by only winning the ball game by 1 measly run, tells you how down in the dumps this Mets team is right now. From the expectations you had entering the season to obviously the dollars that Cohen invested in this club, albeit I know it only means so much depending on where those dollars are allocated, the point still stands. This team has been underperforming like no tomorrow. This is a complete embarrassment what we have been witnessing on a daily basis for not only 3 weeks, but let's call it how it is, for the majority of the season. The Mets have only played 1 game this year. 1 or tops 2 games where I've thoroughly enjoyed watching baseball. One of those 2 games was in LA in game 1 of that series, where it was a back and forth. David Pearson didn't have his sharpest stuff, obviously. That was leading to his demise, and that's why, he's not doing anything for the Mets right now. Shit the bed once again in the Cincinnati series as a late call-up, albeit. But there was a fun back and forth. The Mets offense was there. It's like you can never say die with them. And then even in the first 2 games of that Giants series, you were encouraged not only with Joey Flago's masterclass, but the offense was producing. Like, there were things to be looking forward to and excited about, and you knew that you shouldn't count the Mets team out too soon. But aside from those 2 or 3 games that we've seen this season, the Mets are basically 40 games into the year, and they have been nothing short of underwhelming. I can't look at this team right now and say I have a confidence level. I understand that we still have like 120 games to go, 130, whatever it is, but these games matter. Every game's matter. And the Mets are doing exactly what they did and then some last year, where they had the easiest schedule on paper. The final month of baseball, they did nothing with it. They just managed to stay above 500, but they were underwhelming, and they were outmatched against lesser opponents for the majority of that month, leading into them eventually losing the division in their final series against the Braves, right? Now you fast forward to this season, and what do you see? You see a lot of similarities. You know that entering this season, this team would have a lot of similarities, a lot of similar flaws. And with the rotation and shambles that we've seen to start the year, with injuries and inconsistencies, we know this Mets team is built on the rotation. That in itself is an issue. But what's even a bigger issue is when you see, like yesterday with Justin Verlander, again, shoving. And this team gives me no excitement right now. It has been the only reason why I am even watching this Mets team right now is 1, because obviously I ride or die with them, but 2, because I cover them for a living. I can tell you right now, if I was just the average fan, I would be tuning this all out until I could see this Mets team give some life. Because on a daily basis, they're so hard to watch right now. They're so unbelievably difficult to watch. There is nothing to look at on a daily basis to entice you to say, hey, let's go watch the New York Metropolitans. No, this team is playing like absolute dog shit, and they continue to impress me on how they reach new lows this year when it's only May 11th. It's May 11th, and this team is looking as bad as it is. So the only upside we have is that there's a lot more season to go, and you're like, hey, you could say to yourself, it's better to have the Mets face adversity now versus later, but who's not to say that things won't reach new lows this year? We have nothing to be confident or guaranteed about and what results we're going to get. We know that guys are going to get out of snides, but when you look through the 1 through 9 with this lineup again, just look at this production. It's dog shit. It's pond scum. It's below pond scum. On a nightly fucking basis, day basis, you're not getting jack shit. Nothing. If you get nothing from Alonso or nothing from Lindor, you get nothing from this team. And I'm so fed up that I've been discussing this like it's deja vu, but that's how consistent it's been. The Mets have won 4 games out of their last 17. Fucking 4. And I've covered the vast majority of it too. So it's been hell. It has truly been hell talking about this team the past 3 weeks. It has not been fun at all. The only upside that I have is that, thankfully, I guess I'm entertaining enough to you guys out there that want to hear me rant and talk about this nonsense. And I'm going to call it how it is. I love the Mets. I will always love the Mets, and I will always support them. And I love a lot of players on this team. I really do. And I know that there's so much untapped potential right now that they're just at a low currently. But when you're going to go out and perform, not 1 week, not 2 weeks, but it's going to be 3 weeks by the time this week reaches its conclusion over the weekend. And this team is lifeless. They have no fire. This reminds me a lot of my good buddy Borna Hogwatch, who covers the Padres. Does like the same thing we do here, but covering the Padres. Shout out to you, Borna, in case you're chopping into this at all. And Borna went through these waves of emotions already this year to a little bit of a lesser extent, but with the Padres. Just lifeless at-bats, lifeless games when you have such high expectations with all-star power. And again, they have more of an all-star lineup than the Mets do when it comes to pure talent. There's no denying that. So I feel that. And we're seeing it again so often with this team. It's so difficult. It's so difficult to be not only in tune with the Mets right now, but to even have any inkling of saying, hey, I'm going to go sit down and watch the Mets tonight. They need to prove it, and they haven't proved it. They have just been that bad. They really have, and it's disheartening. I hate that I'm talking about it. I really am. We're not going through the innings 1 through 9 today. It's the same bullshit. Again, all you need to know is that Senga needed one more out and unfortunately couldn't get it. A bloop, opposite field hit, and then another hit, and that drove in 4 runs. Then he strikes out the side in the second. Then he gives up a home run eventually in the 5th, and that'll do it. Again, Senga, though, wasn't even, albeit, again, not a good start by him, but he isn't even my biggest concern today. Even as I mentioned already, how, yes, I know it's deflating for an offense that's in a snide as is, to say, hey, okay, we're already down 4, now the pressure's on my shoulders, but it's the fucking Reds, and it's the Reds bullpen. You're not even facing a nice, young, upcoming southpaw Nick Lodolo, who I had more concerns with. Like, the Mets played against Mackenzie Gore this weekend, and I'm not looking forward to that. What excitement is there to face Mackenzie Gore after what he did the last time the Mets faced him? Even this Nationals team, there's such little to be looking forward to with this club right now. And the only reason why we're not doing callers today, guys, is I thought about it, is I got a lot of stuff that I need to do today. I was debating if I even wanted to do this, but I knew that, of course, you guys are going to be in here and we're going to rant together. Or, of course, if you're an opposing fan, you're going to eat this up for breakfast and enjoy it, because if there's any time to shit on the Mets, it's right now. I'm never going to be that fan to go out of my way to boo them when I'm at a game. By the way, guys, I will be attending 2 games next week. To say I'm excited wouldn't be the right word. I'm going to 2 games next week to meet up with 2 different awesome people. They know who they are. But, going to the Wednesday game against the Rays, and then Saturday, I believe, against the Guardians. If I got to make sure I double check my schedule. I don't know how the Mets are going to perform those games, against the Rays and the Guardians. The Mets are playing like this against lesser teams. It would be a very Mets thing to actually have better games against better teams. But it is unbelievable how when the Mets are playing baseball teams that aren't going to be good this year, that are going to be below 500, or at absolute best in the Giants' case, maybe sniff 500. But they'll be lucky to do that at this rate, I feel like. Even with all that being said, and you want to see the Mets perform better versus better teams versus lesser, you still need to provide some offense, provide some upside, provide some positivity, grind out at bats. They just don't look like they give a flying fuck out there, especially when they're playing lesser opponents. It's like they look at the Reds, they're like, oh, we're in a batter's box. This should be a piece of cake. And then they're getting carved up left and right. Luke Weaver going 5 innings of 1 earned run ball until they finally got onto him in game 1. You know, and then we'll go back farther. Michael Lorenzen carving the Mets up. What is this, right? Gomber, fucking Senzatella. I can go on and on. There's a reason why the Mets, if I'm not mistaken, lead the league already in baseball and the amount of times that they have been shut out this year. Guys, I could count on my hand the amount of times the Mets have been shut out last year. This team is polar opposite when it comes to their start, right? We don't know how, of course, the summer is going to go. We don't know what type of positive changes, hopefully positive changes will be made to this club internally, externally. But what we do know right now is that through the past 3 weeks of baseball, this Mets team has been arguably the worst team in the game. Is there a baseball team out there that has had a worse record over the past 17 games than the Mets, aside from maybe the Oakland A's? If so, please enlighten me, because this is a team with their payroll, with their expectations. There is no excuse to be performing the way that they have, and it's nothing short of pathetic from what we are seeing right now. Nothing short of fucking pathetic, and I hate talking about this ball club at the moment because they give me nothing to look forward to, no excitement. Francisco Alvarez and Justin Verlander are the only things that kept me going in this series, because when I tell you that there was nothing else there truly was nothing else. And now let me get into some donations. Gonna change it up. The Mets suck. Give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah! They do. Guys, everyone's spamming the chat. You know, normally we say that about the Braves because we're ragging on the Braves for fun. But no, the Mets are below pond scum right now. So everyone spam the chat on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hell yeah! I hate it. I really do. But the Mets suck. They really suck right now. I know they're not gonna suck all year. And I'm chomping at the bit to see them actually be a productive team again. But right now, they are anemic. They are abysmal. I hate watching this team right now. I really do. And you won't find me saying that a lot about this team. And I'm a younger fan, right? I haven't been a fan of the Mets for decades, like I know a lot of you seasoned vets on the channel that our followers have. And to which I'm somewhat grateful for, because it's not like the Mets have a storied history, right? So I understand the frustration year after year. But I just can't get over the fact that the Mets have dropped 5 straight series and are doing what they're doing right now. It is blowing. It's almost impressing me just how bad this team is. Like, they are continuing to find new ways to piss me off and to piss off the fan base over this 3-week stretch. They really are. And I went into this initially, heading into this stretch against bad teams. And again, this is not to slight the Reds, to slight the Rockies, but it's the fucking Reds. It's the fucking Rockies. Okay? Like, I'm sorry. If you're a fan of those teams and you think that they're going to be anything more than below 500 this year, I don't know what fantasy land you're living in. And I know your counter is like, I don't know what fantasy land you're living in, Wardy, because you're a fan of the Mets and you think they're going to go far this year. But look at them. Again, I understand that counter, but there's a difference versus a team that knows their expectations, what they should be, versus a team that knows their expectations, what they should be, that will be a below 500 club. So at the end of the day, for the Mets to come out here and to perform the way that they have against these teams is nothing short of inexcusable. It's nonsense. No, the season isn't over. I'm not believing that shit for 1 second. But what is over should be the Mets on this downward spiral, because it is terrible and it has gotten worse before it has gone better. Michael, thank you so much for the donation. I love how they say there's no room for Vientos on this Mets roster, but the team blows. It's tough because of the Vogelbacks and the Phams of the world that normally platoon there. But fuck, you make it work. You have to at this point. Vientos leads all of AAA in the International League, if I'm not mistaken, in OPS, right? I know that you can't look at the kids to be the saviors, and the team needs to internally find answers themselves. I think that is very important, because if they don't, then they just keep banking on call-ups for young kids. It's not going to work in their favor, because they're only going to be hot so long. Kids are going to go through their downward spirals. If you bring up Vientos and he shits the bed right away, the fans are going to give him an earful when he doesn't deserve that. He's a kid being brought up. Same thing with Mauricio. Again, Mauricio has so much power. Would love to see him at second base with McNeil in the left field, but Mauricio's also a guy that I would expect to see a lot of swing and missing at the MLB level as he first gets adjusted through the first couple weeks, at minimum, like what we saw with Alvarez, because, he's young, he's inexperienced, and he doesn't walk for a mofo. So you're hoping that raw power can out-propel you. And you know the Mets are in a bad spot right now when they're almost banking on the kids at this point, because Alvarez like single-handedly led the way offensively in the series. Happy for Alvarez. That's awesome. As 21 years of age, that's damn impressive. But for the team, that is less than ideal. That is exactly what you don't want to happen. You want Alvarez to be thriving while the rest of the lineup is thriving, not him be the only guy who gives a shit who had a single and an opposite field double today and had 2 home runs in the game 1 of the series. Thank you for the donations, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Following this team for a living. Can you collect unemployment? That's funny. Hold on, guys. Shout out Dave. Shout out all my great members on the channel. 1,200, all you guys, you know who you are. People watching live on replay, make sure to continue smashing that like and subscribe on. As we're breaking down, and I'm just sharing raw reactions to the Mets loss today because I'm so fed up with this fucking team. I really am. Sorry for the F-bombs, but that's why I say parental advisory. I'm usually not like this, guys. You know, I did not think that I was going to be feeling or acting this way this early in the year. I knew that we would, of course, have our ebbs and flows, a roller coaster season, but it's 3 consecutive weeks of just dog shit baseball. 3. Like, it makes you feel absolutely gutted. Pat, thank you for the donation. Says, gonna change it up. Oh, yeah, we went over that already. Thank you. Let me see here. Season is over. Stop lying to yourself. That's exactly what the Phillies said, right? You know, after they fired Girardi and got off to an even worse start last year. That's what the Braves said in 2021, the first half, right? See, that's the one thing that you guys, I'll never sign up with you on. Even if the Mets go and say, hypothetically, God forbid, didn't make playoffs, which I'm very confident they still will, or say they have another short run in playoffs, you're never going to see me say out of my mouth, especially this early in the year, that the season's done. It's far from it, because those are the same fans that are too attached to a 40-game stretch when you still have another 120 to go through. And we've seen too much points of evidence with teams on a worse starts and still perform and still have either a good or a very impressive year, in the sense that once they hit playoffs, they go on a run. So you're never going to find me saying that. I don't care if you guys want to clown me. I think it's a clown notion to ever write off a team that early in the year. But what is fair, and which is what I'm doing right now, is to call a team out on their bullshit, because right now, this team is shit. 1,200, we tanking for a pick? Or I appreciate the donation. That's fine. 1,200, you're an absolute beauty of a member on the channel. I always appreciate that. And yeah, Mets story of the series, story of what it feels like the Mets for a while now, is they're just leaving guys on base. You know, the Mets are getting the ball in play, or they're getting their walks, which we always love those walks, right? I don't even care about the walks much anymore. OBP means very little to me if you're not driving their asses in, right? If you're not doing that, then it means nothing. This team is really, really getting me to my breaking point right now. Like, God, it sucks. It just sucks. It really does. Let me go back, check in the poll quick. And of course, guys, make sure to check out my good friends at Sober MLB, the best MLB fantasy game out there. To check them out, if you guys have interest, use my link in the description down below, and of course in the comments down below for people on replay. We talk about them nightly on the channel, but we're really trying to drive signups too. We've gotten hundreds of clicks and signups already since we started the campaign on the channel, but we also are really, really trying to drive these signups, because we're going to be doing a private league soon where you guys will sign up and join, and you'll be able to play against me in said tournaments and fellow Mets fans. So you guys got to sign up again. You build your teams weekly free. You don't have to spend a dime. Sign up, and then you can join your tournaments weekly. And if you do well in the tournaments, you will win free tickets to your favorite team, win free merchandise, win actual dollars, hundreds if not thousands of dollars, and so many more great prizes by, again, team that you draft as your own GM and this Sober MLB game. And then you enter your weekly tournaments. You can buy, sell, and trade cards should you wish. If you want to get exclusive cards that are unique to you on the blockchain for NFTs, there is so much to love about this game, and I've been having so much fun. I don't think I'm going to do well in my tournaments because they've been underwhelming. My last tournament from my previous tournament, I was in 150th out of 9,500 people, killed it, and got myself a nice reward, which was a gold card, one of the ones that you see right here. But no less, make sure to check out Sober MLB and shout out them for being a great partner on the channel. But make sure to check them out, guys, because we're going to be doing a channel giveaway soon on the channel, and we're going to be doing our own own like independent league where you have to sign up using my link in the description to join, and a lot of fun is going to come out of it, I assure you, if you guys are into fantasy baseball and stuff like that. But I did want to check the poll, as I said this already. Let me check right here. Give me 1 second. We're halfway to 100 likes. Thank you guys all so much for that. Continue smashing that like and subscribe on. Really does mean a lot. You guys are the only enjoyment that I get out of this Mets stretch, and I mean that wholeheartedly. And I hate how much I've been ragging on this team, but it's all been justified. That's the worst. You know, I'm never going to say things about the Mets that I feel aren't deserving. So, and Christopher, thank you so much for the sign up. I appreciate that. For me to act the way that I have about this Mets team, for me to say the things that I've said, you know, it's been warranted, because many Mets fans are more on the pessimistic side that don't want to enjoy even nice wins usually are the ones that go out of their way over the past couple of years since they started content creating and say, hey, you know, like you need to stop being optimistic or happy about this team. Like I'm never going to be that type of fan, but I'm going to be a realistic fan. I know that I have been a little overboard at times in the past because you get excited when the team's on a great run, but I also feel like I'm very even keeled right now when I just say that this team right now is just not good. Like they're not performing well, and you don't know what the solution is going to be, if it's going to be internally with the kids again, externally via trade to help out the depth of the rotation, the bullpen, and potentially offense. All I know is that changes need to happen, and they need to happen fast, because with the spiral this Mets team is on in the division that they're in, they're not in a spot where they're going to have success if they continue to perform the way that they are. So they really need to get their head out of their ass, because I'm beyond exhausted ranting about this team on a nightly, daily fucking basis. It sucks. 92% of you guys have 400 votes say that yes, the Mets need to make some changes offensively, Vientos and or Mauricio, etc. So there's that. And again, I don't disagree with you guys. I just don't know exactly how they're going to make it work. But at the same time, you know, like Vogie gives you the OBP, I get, but I much rather you give opportunities to Vientos who can actually hit the ball out of the park. And nothing personal against Vogelback, but the Mets have their contact hitters, okay? And I get it. It sucks when they're in a slump because even the contact hitters aren't hitting right. McNeil is not looking good right now. Marte is looking like shit right now, has been all season to start the year. Nimmo has been pressing a little bit more as of late. So your contact guys aren't even doing the contact that you want or expect them to do, but they will get themselves in a groove. Those are guys that you overall have the most confidence in this lineup. You need some more pop. You need to go for the bloop and the blast. And the Mets just don't have enough of that right now. I think with someone like Vientos, it does not hurt giving him the leash. And you could even argue that it would have been ideal for the Mets to give him a leash in a stretch like this against, you know, let's face it, lesser pitching, you know, worse teams, but at the same time, maybe the pitching isn't all that less if they're carving up the Mets the way that they are. So you got a 4-game set against the Nationals too. Push comes to shove at some point, right? And you got to make a decision. You have to make changes. Has the game passed Buck by? No. No, don't get me wrong. Buck has been anything but perfect throughout the season, but Buck is not the biggest concern here either. Yes, you want to fire under this team's ass. I 100% agree with that. But when you look at the pitching adversity that Buck has had to deal with to start the year too, he's had his plate full. There are many more concerns that I have right now than the manager. That I promise you. And that's something that we will discuss further throughout the year based on the production or lack thereof that we get from this Mets team. But guys, you know, like I said, I'm fed up with this baseball team. It's driving me bananas right now. Tomorrow, I don't even know if we're going to do a live show. Guys, just a heads up, don't be shocked if you see some post-game recaps on the channel. You're not going to get live streams daily, especially over the weekend against the Nationals with how this team's playing. I'm going to enjoy my weekend. You know, I got some stuff that I need to take care of course. Going to enjoy myself, friends, family, you know, all that stuff. So you won't see live streams every game for over the weekend, most likely. You'll probably get some post-game recaps at absolute most. Live stream tomorrow night, I honestly don't know. We'll see what happens on that front. Should have a new podcast episode out. Hopefully, if we do, it'll probably be around 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow or so. So be on the lookout for that. Not guaranteed, but we're hopeful for it. And plenty more content heading into next week. We have an awesome video that I'm going to be working on with a really, really awesome personality that I'm excited to share with you guys. And we have a lot more awesome partners coming on the channel too that I'm excited to share and all that shit. But, you know, I feel like I want to take a nap right now. I know I can't because I got stuff that I got to do today. But if I were, I would, of course, be using my Manta Sleep Mask Pro, which is the best sleep mask on the market. And for many of you guys, have already purchased the sleep mask using my promo code WARDY for 10% off on Manta Sleep in the description down below or in the link in the comments below for people on replay. Then thank you guys all so much in advance for that. But briefly, guys, Manta Sleep, they are the best in the game when it comes to sleep masks, guys. We talk about them daily. A great sponsor partner to have here on the channel. They have all your sleep mask needs. They have a sound mask, which is so sick. I love them. And I've been advocating heavily for these guys. I had it on last night too, slept like a baby. I had to make sure that I was ready in time to get ready to watch what was another dog shit Mets game, unfortunately. So maybe I should have slept in a little bit and not cared about the game today. But again, it's neither here nor there. It's over it. We got a weighted mask here. We got a cool mask, which again will have your face be nice and cool at night, which I absolutely love. I can't wait to get my hands on that one. Manta steam mask there, which if you want the opposite, especially in the winter, if say you're cold in your house, want some nice heat around your eye sockets too, that's where the Manta Steam Mask comes into play. The Pro Mask, which is the best seller, which is what I have, they're beyond affordable. I love them to death, and I love Manta Sleep. So again, shout out to them for being a great sponsor on the channel. Make sure to check them out in the link in the description to get yours today using my promo code WARDY for 10% off. Again, that's WARDY for 10% off. Manta Sleep in the description down below. Comments on replay. Thank you guys all so much for your endless support and for everyone that has already purchased a fantastic Manta Sleep Mask. But guys, I'm getting out of here. This team, I can't right now. Be proud of me that I even came up and did something today. Because, you know, unlike the Mets, I showed up. That's the difference between the Mets and I. You know, no matter the result, I'm going to show up, right? No matter really adversity, I'm going to show up. Can't say the same about this Mets team right now, unfortunately. But guys, love you all to death. Stay tuned for more content. As always, the Mets have a 4-game set against the Nationals. We'll see what they do. But I'm going to try to enjoy my Thursday, and I implore you guys to do the same, whether you're watching live or on replay, day, evening, night, whatever you're watching. Thank you guys so much for your support. This is Wardy signing out. Have a great one, folks, and make yourself have a better day than what the Mets have had the past 3 weeks. Peace out.